Hi everybody, I'm so glad you're with us. The next half hour is going to be a lot of fun for a couple of reasons. First, it's headed into one of my favorite fishing times of the year, the early part of the spring. And secondly, it's the launch of a brand new season of our show. So come on along. Let's get things cranked up for a brand new season as Let's Fish TV is on the air right now. That is a fish. Oh man, look at this.
It's time for the only program that brings you real-time fishing reports from the Southwest region every week.
Oh my gosh. Oh, look at that. Woo!
This is Let's Fish.
Hi everybody and welcome in to a brand new season of Let's Fish TV. This is episode number 1 of 39 consecutive shows for the 2021 season, showing you where to go and how to catch your favorite fish. Now, in addition to going out on the water and showing you hands-on instruction, we're going to be taking you around your local region for this week's fishing reports each week from our Let's Fish Insider reporters. They're going to give you the reports on saltwater and freshwater right where you live. Now, to get things started, we've brought the Low Stinger 198 aluminum fishing boat out to one of my favorite lakes in deep East Texas. Now, just over my shoulder, that is Lake of the Pines. It's a long lake, a pretty big body of water, and it's located right up in the northeast corner of Texas, right where Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana come together. And it is loaded with one of my favorite fish, the crappie. It's got both black and white crappie. We're gonna take the Stinger out there today and see if we can locate some and show you how to catch some here in the early part of the springtime. Right now, let's get the season started back at the studio with your weekend planner.
Welcome back, everybody. We're so glad to have you with us for this brand new season. Expect fair game fish activity Saturday and poor activity on Sunday. Look for those prime daytime hours to begin at 6:15 on Saturday and 7:14 on Sunday, with top evening action starting at 6:39 on Saturday and after 7:39 on Sunday. Depending on your area, expect the sun to rise around 6:51 and set at 6:27. The moon will be a last quarter moon on Sunday. Stick around, we've got fishing reports from across the area on the way. Plus, I'll return with Bassmaster Elite Angler Todd Otten to answer this week's Ask the Pro questions. Stay with us.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Mercury. Go boldly. Lowrance, America's #1 fish finder. Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, Alabama. Get our free fishing guide at orangebeach.com. Motor Guides Tour Pro with GPS Anchor. The tour is back. Blazer, high-performance boats for high-performance anglers.
Lake of the Pines is where we're coming to you today. Look how wide that fish is across the back. There's one. I got one. Oh, he feels like a good one too. Straight down and going toward the back. What have I got? Man, down there deep. There he comes. Good one. Good crappie. There we go. Got it started with a nice one. How about that? Hey, welcome back everybody. Let's Fish TV on the road again with a brand new season. And we start the season off, the first fish of the season right there. There's your nice slab crappie right there. Lake of the Pines is where we're coming to you today. Look how wide that fish is across the back. They're sitting out here feeding up, leaving winter, getting ready for springtime. And they're staging, getting ready to go shallow to spawn. So let's, I'm gonna put that one in the live well in just a second, but for right now, I'm just gonna lay him gently right there while I explain to you what's going on out here. So as you can see, if you look around, we're just kind of out in the middle of the lake right now, but actually where we are, we're in the upper end of the lake, and we're in an area where there's a bunch of little creek arms and little bays and sloughs and a main creek channel coming right down the middle of the lake. Those are the places where these fish are going to spawn. Now that's going to happen a little later in March and on into April, and we'll even have some spawning crappie up into May before the weather really starts warming up. But these fish will get out here on the edges of these deep creek channels. We're in a creek channel right now that's about 25 feet deep, but it has about 15 feet of water on the edges. And they just run those edges. They'll sit in the brush tops or on the single stumps, pole timber we call it, and they'll just let those eggs ripen. They're just sitting out there feeding, getting ready for the spawn.
Hi everybody, and welcome to the 2021 season of Lone Star Lakes. Now I can't wait to tell you about what's already happened in the first couple of months of this year. These segments are brought to you by the good folks at Renaissance Cooking Systems, who are introducing their new American Renaissance grills made right here in America. I'm going to tell you all the features about that as we go over the next few weeks, but let me just say, these are America's best value in outdoor kitchens. Now, we also had an Arctopocalypse roll through Texas in the middle of February. Record low temperatures, ice, snow. Believe it or not, on the first day of the Arctopocalypse, young Toledo Bend angler Dylan Lyons went out with a football head jig. His first cast, he caught a 9-pounder. But he didn't stop there. He kept fishing, and a little later in the day, caught this 1290. But on the same day, out west, O.H. Ivy, an angler caught a 1640. Now, not only does he lead for the biggest bass and Angler of the Year honors in that Cheryl Lunker Legacy program, but it's a new Lake O.H. Ivy record. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes for the new season. Hey folks, it's brought to you by American Renaissance Grills. Look us up on Facebook, Lone Star Lakes.
There's one. What have I got? Come up. Small one. But he's a fish, and I want you to look how fat the belly on that crappie is. If that's not a pre-spawner, they're up here getting ready to spawn. There's my little Strike King bait. I'll show you all the baits a little bit later. We're on Lake of the Pines today, and I guess I'm gonna throw him back. That was a little small one. Well, let's talk a little bit about the technique. I mentioned that these fish are on brush today. Crappie can be caught in lots of different ways. They can be caught out in open water. You can catch them under docks. You can catch them around laydowns, but we're actually catching them today out off some standing timber that's out off these creek channels. And in order to find them, I'm using a brand new product. It's a Lowrance Active Target. And it's live sonar, basically, live 3D type imaging where you can actually see in real time the stumps, the bait, and the fish swimming around the stumps. It's pretty incredible. And you can actually watch your lure as well. So what I've done right now is I've just pulled up to a little area. Clay Gann's a guide here. He guides here and at Palestine and at Fork and some other lakes here around East Texas. He's a great crappie guide. He also is a very accomplished tournament fisherman, and he's showed us a few of his favorite laydown logs that are laying on the bottom, but they seem to be today on a lot of this standing timber. So I can actually see it. I can see my bait. And I'm just pitching it out there and watching it on my screen. Watching my bait swim along the tops of this laydown and along the edges of this standing timber. And you'll actually watch a fish swim over and grab it. I'll show you a little more of that a little bit later. But you've got to find these individual pieces of timber that are kind of away from everything else, and that's where the fish tend to gravitate to. But you saw that fish, even though that was not a big fish, it's a pre-spawner. It's out here feeding actively, getting ready to go up and spawn, and they get real fat bellies and real hefty looking fish. They'll weigh the most they're gonna weigh this time of the year before they spawn. Let's see if we can catch another one. Just good, solid keeper black crappie right there. Look at that dude. Down, here he comes, here he comes, here he comes. Got him, got another one. Hey, we're starting to catch them here at Lake of the Pines. Welcome back, everybody. Let's Fish TV. Coming to you from deep East Texas today, almost to the Louisiana and Arkansas border. And we are having a good time. There he comes. Yeah, that's a fatty right there. Just good, solid keeper black crappie right there. Look at that dude. There's my little Strike King lightning shad right in the top of his mouth. He had it welded. I had to go to a little more subtle color. And that's really strange. There's the package of those baits right there. This is kind of a silver and black color. That is called Tuxedo Black Sparkle. And I've had to go to some extreme tactics here because I actually have seen several of these fish on this timber. And they'll swim out and look at a bait and then just swim right back and not eat it. And I had some real bright colored baits on. I had a electric chicken on, which is just a real bright color, and it seemed to be spooking the fish. So there's your little lesson. If you're getting some bites and you're missing fish, or in my case, if you're watching this active target and the fish just aren't eating it, go to something a little more subtle. So this doesn't have nearly as big a tail on it. It's just got a little single tail, and it's more of a minnow or a shad color, just a little more subtle, and that has seemed to make the difference. I've gotten a couple of them good ones to bite it again when I couldn't get them to bite earlier. So experiment around a little bit.
Hi everyone, Captain Greg Verm here, and I'm super excited to once again bring you your weekly fishing reports from here along the entire Texas Gulf Coast. Now this week, I'm going to talk upper Texas coast. We had some extreme cold temperatures last week, and we're still waiting to see the effects of the weather on our bay systems here in Galveston. Now one unique characteristic of our bay system is we have plenty of deep water for refuge. Now we haven't seen a lot of floating fish, but sometimes it takes a few days for the water to warm up. Now back to some other news. One of the most exciting seasons is beginning, the bay snapper spawn. Hey, we're catching good numbers of quality bay snapper along the North Galveston jetty. Live shrimp, free-lined along the rocks is the key. Spring break is fast approaching, and Galveston, Texas is a great spring break family destination. And we're here to carry you and your family fishing. Give me a call, check out our websites, go like us on Facebook or Instagram, get the up-to-date everyday fishing report from there. I'm Captain Greg Verm, and I'll see you next week.
Hey friends, Captain Kevin Broussard here with Cajun Paradise Charters in Hackberry, Louisiana, coming to you for Let's Fish Louisiana. Tell you what, I'm going to be bringing you the reports for both freshwater and saltwater. Right now, I'm going to tell you we've had a lot of cold weather. Toledo Bend, getting some reports, but a lot of bass are still deep, and the white perch are still very deep. White perch shiners, tell you what, the bass, jigging spoons, football head jigs, and Carolina rigs. Saltwater along the coast. We had a major unprecedented freeze down here. It actually did kill a few fish all along Texas and Louisiana coast, but we still have tons of fish. Few people been getting back on the water. For old Cajun Phil, Captain Kevin Broussard here at Cajun Paradise saying happy fishing, may God bless, and we're gonna see you right here on Let's Fish.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Have fun out there. Power Pole, Total Boat Control. Visit Mississippi. Good times are close by. Low Boats, 50 years of boating craftsmanship. Balls Out, made in the USA. Heavy-duty mounts for your fish finders.
They're all fat, healthy pre-spawn fish, and every one of them is a really good-sized fish right there. Several fish laying right in this little area right here. There's a great big tree that's kind of laying on the bottom. It's got big branches sticking up towards the surface. There he is. He got it. Oh, and he's around that. Oh, he came loose. He got around the tree for a second. Feels like a good pull. Yeah, that's a good fish. There we go. Get in my net. Get in my net. We are having a good time catching them today. These are all blacks here. There we go. Look at that fatty. Just all good, solid, healthy fish right there. Beautiful crappie. Well, let me give you just a a quick lesson. If you were going to go to a lake that you hadn't been before, or maybe the lake you live near, and you want to find these crappie and you don't have any idea where they are, here's what you do. You start off with a good chart, good topo map. You get in the upper half of the lake where the feeder creeks and river comes in to the top half of the lake. You start there. Then you start looking for all the channels, the creek channels and the river channels. I would start about 30 feet deep up to about 15. That's kind of the range that you want to be looking in. You want to follow those contours of those creek and river channels and find the ledges. And then the last component is that you want to find the trees or the brush that are submerged under the surface. So you can drive around with your outboard motor, and I like to keep a marker buoy handy, and you can see right here, I threw a marker buoy out on this big tree that we idled across the top of, and then you can put your trolling motor down. Of course, if you've got an active target like I do, then you can actually see the brush, see the tree, see the fish, and watch your bait go down to it. I've got my Fishing Specialties pole right here, and this is what the active target transducer looks like right there, and I've got it on the end of this pole. And one of the most asked questions that I get is, what is that pole? Well, it's made by Fishing Specialties, and it's a whole mount system that you can pull this thing in and out of your boat real easily if you move across the lake, and it's just real handy.
Hey, welcome back to Let's Fish and the 2021 season. I missed you guys, and I'm really looking forward to fishing with you again this year. What a nasty cold February we had, and I know all of us are ready for some quality springtime fishing here in the state of Oklahoma. Now, what some of our anglers did during that nastiest spell in February, they actually jumped across the state line, went to the power plant lake called Flint Creek, also known as SWEPCO, which is just north of Siloam Springs, and Brian Potter and Bobby Myers were among those anglers. They had a real quality outing there in late February. Now, they found the water temperatures to be 60 to 65 degree range, and that meant the bass were really active. They caught them on a variety of different ways, including topwater, jigs, deep diving crankbaits. Work on those lower half lakes, you're gonna catch some quality bass, but you can't catch them if you don't go.
There's one. Oh, that feels like a good pull too. Oh, it's a good one. Oh, he's a good one. There he goes. That one. Look at these crappie, man. They are all about the same size. Well, according to our guide, Clay Gann, you can really take your choice here. You can get up in the little bit shallower water in the further upper end of the lake, and you can catch the black crappie like these. These are the ones with the black specks on them. They're all fat, healthy, pre-spawn fish, and every one of them is a really good sized fish right there. Or you can back off in even deeper water and fish the tops of some deeper trees. There aren't as many fish there, but those are where the places where some of the white crappie live, and they're even bigger. They're catching white crappie here up to almost 3 pounds. And I mentioned that Clay has actually caught a couple of them over 2 pounds right next to us here, and he's out on the river a little bit further. And if you'd like to book him for a guide trip, there's his I think he's got a Facebook page, a web page, a phone number. Contact him any way you'd like, and you can book a guide trip and catch some of these great eating, great fighting, fun to catch fish like we're doing today.
Watch our latest episode or catch up on past episodes on our website at letsfishtv.com. Be sure to hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter for new fishing videos every day. And download the free Waypoint TV app to get all the latest episodes every week on your phone, tablet, computer, or smart TV. Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Lou's. Feel the difference. Waypoint Customs. Customize your boat your way. Strike King. Tie one on. Glacier Glove. Stay outdoors longer with our gloves, hats, and shades. Fishing Specialties. Makers of the premier mount assembly for live sonar.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's get right to your Ask the Pro question for this week. Riggin wants to know, at what age did you start fishing tournaments, and were you any good at it back then? For an answer, we asked Bassmaster Elite Angler Todd Otten.
Well, I know I fished my first tournament when I was 15, and I had to have my parents sign the entry form just so I could go fish. And by that time, you know, I'd fish with my cousins and my dad and everybody to get a little good at it, you know, but I wasn't that good at it. But I caught fish with my pro. I had a ball. I caught more fish than my pro. So I thought that was a feat. That was the only goal I had. You know, it wasn't to win the tournament.
Thank you, Todd, for sharing your knowledge with us. If you want some help from one of the pros, simply go to letsfishtv.com and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit a question. Now let's see who wins this week's Big Catch of the Week.
We've made it back to the boat ramp at Lake of the Pines, and it's time right now for this week's winner in the Big Catch of the Week contest. He's Chris Large of Yantis, Texas, showing a 10-pound largemouth bass he caught at Lake Quitman, Texas. If you'd like a chance to have you and your big fish shown on our show, just go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/letsfishtv, go to last Tuesday's post, and comment with your photo and all the details about the catch.
Here's today's Right Stuff, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Next up, it's the Academy Right Stuff, the right gear if you'd like to catch crappie like we caught on this week's show, pitching around this brush and timber. It begins with the Lew's Wally Marshall Pro Series rod. It comes in all the right actions. I like one that's about 7 feet long to do all the pitching with, and we had it paired with the Lew's Wally Marshall WSP 100 spinning reel, perfectly matched for this setup. Now, one of the most important things we did today was made the little change midday that helped us get more bites. I was throwing this real brightly colored Strike King Wally Marshall Crappie Thunder. Now, in most cases, especially in stained water, that's the color you want to go with. That's called electric chicken. It's kind of a hot pink and a chartreuse, but it was spooking some of the fish today, so I had to go subtle. This is the Lew's Wally Marshall Lightning Shad. It's a much more subtle bait, and I used more of a minnow or a shad color, and that got me lots more bites today. I'd like to talk about 2 important words, change and control. By default, most of us want to try to control the circumstances of our lives, our environment, things around us, even other people. But what happens when something goes out of control, like a pandemic, when we can't do anything about our circumstances? That's when many of us just panic, freak out, and completely lose it. Could I tell you that change can actually be a good thing? Why? Because we can learn something every time things change. So the next time you find yourself in a circumstance you can't do anything about, stop and ask yourself the question, what can I learn from this? Chances are you'll come out a better person on the other side. If we don't change, we don't grow. Thanks so much for joining us from Lake of the Pines on this week's show. We had a great time catching those big old slab pre-spawn crappie, and I hope you learned something that'll help you go out and catch crappie on your favorite lake, river, or reservoir the next few weeks before they spawn. Our special thanks to Clay Gann for helping us find some of these brush piles and putting us on the fish. If you'd like to book a trip with him right here in Texas at several different lakes, he can put you on crappie. You can contact him, the information you see on your screen. From deep East Texas at Lake of the Pines, until next week, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun, let's fish everybody. Bye-bye, y'all.